Do you remember that feeling of one step forward, two steps back when you try to build a relationship? When you open your heart, share your deepest thoughts, sense an unbreakable warmth, only to have the other person turn icy cold, retreating behind an invisible wall. If you've ever been stressed, exhausted, and bewildered, asking yourself, why do I give my all and still feel so hurt? Pause for a moment and take a deep breath. This video won't just help you recognize the avoidant tendencies in others. It will unveil a path straight to their heart, not by chasing, but by honoring your own worth. Together, we'll lift the veil on the science of pressure, the trigger that flips the avoidant brain into defense mode the instant they feel constrained. You'll learn why invisible pressure, even when it's meant as supportive love, becomes the ultimate enemy that makes them run from closeness. From there, you'll receive a brand new map, the unshakable anchor model that transforms you from pursuer into confident beacon, drawing them back to your safe harbor. In the upcoming sections, I'll share the 3 golden rules: how to respond, don't react, making your life the main event, and mastering the art of standards, not ultimatums. This isn't a magical trick or a formula to force someone's heart to flutter. It's a journey of reclaiming self-respect, boosting your self-worth, and igniting your authentic magnetism so they feel drawn to you without ever fearing entrapment. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications right now so you won't miss a single step of this journey. Stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal the final anchor secret you absolutely must apply to transform love from a draining tug-of-war into a blossoming, fulfilling adventure. You'll discover that loving yourself is the most powerful lever to pull their heart closer. When you first touch the heart of someone with an avoidant attachment style, that gentle warmth feels like rare sunlight breaking through the clouds, convincing you that you've finally found someone who gets you. You share a secret you've never told anyone, offer a tight embrace, or send a heartfelt message, and in that moment, every doubt seems to dissolve. But the instant you offer just one more genuine look, one more word of encouragement, or a seemingly small question, you notice the atmosphere shift. They hesitate, their eyes narrow as though shielding themselves. Then they step back, creating an invisible distance. This is the invisible wall of an avoidant person, a wall you cannot touch or see, yet it feels more tangible than any brick barrier. You instinctively want to rush through that wall and flatten it, but this very barrier makes you chase harder, and that pursuit suffocates them. Physiologically, when an avoidant mind senses pressure, even pressure born from your sincerest affection, the alarm system in the amygdala instantly fires off a cascade of internal warnings. Warning, risk of losing freedom, risk of being engulfed. These alerts are so powerful that they drown out any trace of your loving words or soothing gestures. The more you approach, the more they retreat. The closer you draw, the farther they flee. It's like placing your hand on the door to a closed room, only to have them slam it shut, the sound of their breath heavy with fear and confusion echoing through the crack. This behavior isn't a manipulative mind game they're playing deliberately. It's a self-protection mechanism ingrained deep in their subconscious since childhood, when any emotional demand could spell danger. Instead of lashing out or lashing back, an avoidant person immediately switches into cold mode. They become silent, turn away, and slowly vanish from the conversation. And when you knock on that wall with warm words or tender gestures, it grows twice as tall, seemingly whispering, "Stop, don't come closer." This push-pull dynamic leaves you utterly exhausted. You're caught in a whirlwind of hope, disappointment, hope, constantly wondering, where did I go wrong? You chastise yourself, maybe I was too much, only to feel emptied and abandoned the next moment, as though the world has deserted you alone. The deep desire to be understood, to be loved genuinely, is buried beneath that invisible fortress, causing your heart to ache each time you contemplate the distance. Yet, it is precisely in that moment of apparent hopelessness that you uncover a truth. The invisible wall only stands because you are positioning yourself as the pursuer, and they become the prey forced to flee. When you stop chasing, when you halt the barrage of messages and instead focus on your own life, that wall begins to thin, a crack appears, and the warmth of genuine connection can return. But that, dear viewer, is a topic for our next segment, where we delve into the anchor model and explore how to transform those invisible walls into stepping stones guiding an avoidant heart back home. Now, To truly understand why that invisible wall keeps rising each time you attempt to close the distance, we must delve into the avoidant person's psychological physiological mechanism. Whenever you chase them, whether it's a caring text, a check-in call, or a heartfelt gesture, the avoidant brain immediately flashes a danger signal. In that split second, the amygdala, the fear center, screams, "I'm losing my freedom, I'm being swallowed up, run away." They are not processing "this is love" or "this is support." They simply switch on fight or flight mode. They tense up, their breathing quickens, heart rate spikes, and all your affectionate acts morph into threats. Pressure is the greatest enemy of intimacy with an avoidant because, to them, intense love resembles a controlling thorn that pierces their autonomy. Biochemically, once the amygdala sounds the alarm, the adrenal glands pump out cortisol and adrenaline, flooding the body with stress hormones. They no longer hear your loving words, they only feel coerced. The harder you pursue, the more they retreat. Neurologically, you inadvertently engage their prefrontal cortex, but not for logical reasoning, rather to reinforce the imagined threat. If I respond, I lose space, I lose myself. Psychologically, avoidants grow up learning that emotional dependency equals vulnerability. They may have witnessed volatile parents, where affection came tethered to conflict, or learned that any emotional need would be met with rejection. Deep down, they hold a core belief: dependence is danger. So whenever you signal a desire to connect, they perceive it as a sign to withdraw for self-preservation. They fortify their invisible wall by going silent, avoiding eye contact, and shrinking the scope of interaction to the bare minimum. In their mind, silence is not only defense, it is a sanctuary where they can breathe free of imposition. This dual mechanism, physiological and psychological, spawns an endless push-pull cycle. You move forward, they pull back. You pull back, they hesitate. You push again, they retreat even further. You feel powerless to truly reach their heart, while they believe retreat protects their sense of self. But they are not adversaries to conquer, nor you an aggressor to defeat. Recognizing this allows you to shift strategy from chaser to anchor. You must stop unintentionally adding more pressure to their alarm system in order to create a threat. Free space where the amygdala no longer shouts, "Danger." When you cease the barrage of unanswered messages, stop expecting immediate replies, and respect their time and space. You grant their prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thought and safety, a chance to breathe and override the fear response. In this tension-free environment, genuine connection can sprout organically. This understanding marks the crucial transition from identifying the psychological, physiological mechanism, Part 1, to exploring the anchor model solution, Part 2, how to embody unwavering emotional stability. Communicate that my well-being does not rely on your presence, and thereby invite them to draw near, not because they are being pulled, but because they see in you a haven of freedom and respect for personal boundaries. In the next section, we will dive into constructing this anchor in your relationship, how to maintain your own emotional equilibrium, set clear, self-respecting boundaries, and cultivate that safe harbor, so compelling that an avoidant heart willingly steers toward you, no longer fearing entrapment but relishing in genuine closeness. Building on our analysis of the physiological and psychological mechanisms that cause an avoidant person to retreat when you pursue, we now shift to a completely new perspective. Instead of continuing to pull the rope to draw them closer, you become a steadfast anchor. An anchor does not move, does not plead, does not chase the ship, but rather stands firm in place, asserting its position amidst the vast ocean. This simple act is the pivotal turning point when you stop unintentionally adding more pressure to their amygdala alarm system. You create a threat-free zone where the prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thought and security, can regulate, recognize that there is no snare waiting to trap them. In that moment, they do not fear the loss of freedom, but can breathe easily, observe you from a distance with curiosity. Why is this person not afraid, not pleading, but composed and living joyfully on their own? This is the anchor boundary in all its power, encapsulated in a declaration: my emotional stability is my responsibility and does not depend on your presence or validation. When you live by this creed, every gesture, every word you utter broadcasts a powerful message. You do not need them to feel happy. You are not swayed by an unread message. You are not extinguished by their silence. This is not rigid indifference or coldness. but an embodiment of robust self-worth, built on caring for your own emotional needs before sacrificing for another. Imagine that each time they withdraw, you do not chase, yet you continue your work, your hobbies, your joy with friends and passion. You still attend weekend gatherings, post photos from memorable trips, devote time to your personal projects. When they happen to see you, what they notice is not a shadow clinging to them, but the image of you, a fully independent person, brimming with positive energy. They wonder if there is room in your bustling life for them, if there is a chance to draw near to that beacon of confidence and stability. At that very moment, the invisible wall begins to recede. The avoidant individual takes time to reflect. Is the boundary they maintain a barrier I cannot cross, or a safe invitation for me to approach when I'm ready? If you kept pulling the rope, that boundary would always remain out of reach, separating you. But when you stand firm, without expectation or haste, that boundary becomes a depth into which they willingly dive, explore, and you, as the anchor, are ready to hold space for their return whenever they choose. From this vantage point, you are no longer uncertain about what to do when they go silent. Instead, you understand the anchor's mission. Sustain your own emotional stability so that the relationship is not warped by possessiveness or a desire to control. You respect their boundary, and by upholding your anchor boundary, you also require them to honor yours. Merging steadiness with openness, you generate a field of safety where pressure cannot exist and only trust has room to grow. And with this understanding, we move into the next section: how to translate the anchor theory into practical action. From the 3 operating rules to the art of standards-based communication, so that you become not only a steadfast declaration but a lighthouse guiding an avoidant heart willingly home. Continuing from the anchor perspective we've just explored, it's time to turn theory into action with 3 essential operating rules: your roadmap for understanding emotions, nurturing your own life, and communicating with steadfast clarity. Rule 1: respond, don't react. When they go silent, your heart may race and your mind whirl, pushing you to fire off a frantic, "Are you okay?" or "Why aren't you replying?" Reacting only amplifies the pressure, triggering their amygdala's danger alarm once more. Instead, identify your emotion. Are you feeling sadness, anxiety, or anger? Allow this emotion to exist like a passing visitor. Then proactively redirect your focus to your own life. Play your favorite playlist, attend a yoga class, read a book, or call a close friend. You still feel the emotion, but you let it pass through you without dictating your actions. Your measured response, pausing, then self-care, demonstrates the true stability of the anchor, showing you are secure enough not to be swept away by emotional storms. Rule 2: your life is the main event. When your relationship becomes your primary stage, you risk living in the waiting room of someone else, restless for your ticket to their heart. A true anchor does not wait. It holds firm on the ocean floor while the ship sails freely. Therefore, you must continue planning hobbies, work, and social engagements even if they haven't answered your message. Schedule friend gatherings, sign up for that weekend cooking class, or dive into a passion project. Each activity you pursue signals that you possess a rich inner world and find joy and purpose independently. When they see you thriving, their curiosity may be piqued. Can I join in that vibrancy? And they might return with genuine interest. Rule 3: standards, not ultimatums. Many confuse setting conditions with issuing threats, leading to lines like, "If you don't text me daily, we're done." That's an ultimatum, a blitz that scares avoidance into deeper withdrawal. Instead, clearly state what you need. "I've noticed I feel connected when we chat every couple of days. That's what I value in a long-term relationship." Speak calmly and confidently, sans "do this or else," but as quality information to help them decide. This is a standard, a respectful boundary you honor, while inviting them to honor yours. Standards demonstrate self-respect, not control, and represent the most potent form of anchor communication. When all 3 rules operate in harmony, you respond intentionally, your life shines brightly, and you uphold standards with self-worth. You not only maintain your personal anchor, but invite the avoidant partner to approach willingly. Instead of fleeing from pressure, they are drawn to the consistency, respect, and certainty you embody. In the next section, we'll explore how to sustain these 3 rules flexibly and handle specific scenarios so your anchor remains unshakable, no matter the waves pounding against it. And now, having mastered the anchor model through its 3 operating rules, let's step back to see the full picture. When you truly become an anchor steady with every breath, honoring your own emotions, and independently pursuing your life, an avoidant person will no longer feel caged by your love. Instead, they will see you as a steadfast lighthouse shining across the vast sea. Picture a stormy sky and churning waves, and in the distance, a light unwavering, never flickering or swaying. That is you when you uphold your anchor boundary. My emotional stability is my responsibility and does not depend on your presence or validation. Unlike the invisible wall that causes them to huddle inward, your lighthouse exudes a sense of safety, allowing them to roam free, explore, and ultimately return home. Your magnetism is no longer frantic messages or pleas, but emanates from your intrinsic confidence love you first give to yourself. When you tend to your inner world, listen to your own needs, and act in alignment with your values, you become compelling on a deeper level, the beauty of a self-governing, complete individual radiating positivity. Rather than feeling trapped, the avoidant partner senses the freedom you extend, and only then can they freely choose to sail back into your safe harbor. You may now ask, how do I maintain that anchor state forever? The answer lies in steadfastly embracing the 3 rules. Respond. Don't react, always identify and allow emotions to exist without letting them dictate your actions. Your life is the main event. Continually cultivate a rich life, regardless of their retreat. Standards, not ultimatums, articulate your needs respectfully rather than issuing threats. By flexibly and consistently applying these principles, your anchor grows ever deeper, securing itself firmly on the ocean floor, impervious to hidden currents or raging storms. Before we conclude, I want you to ask yourself once more, are you ready to love yourself enough to become unshakable? Embarking on this journey is no easy feat. You will face fears, old habits, and moments of self-doubt. But rest assured, through this process, you will rediscover your inner strength, reinforce your self-respect, and build an unshakable foundation for all relationships. You no longer have to compromise your essence to keep someone's affection because you know you deserve a love that is free, respectful, and honors your uniqueness. Begin today by committing to your anchor boundary. My emotional stability is my responsibility and does not depend on your presence or validation. Whenever you feel tempted to pull the rope or add pressure, take a deep breath, repeat this declaration, and return to your own life. Trust me, as you stand firm in this boundary, you will sense a transformation. Not only will your relationship with an avoidant improve, but you will also become stronger, more peaceful, and more aspirational than ever. And finally, if you truly wish to become an unshakable lighthouse, hit subscribe and follow the channel so you won't miss any upcoming insights. Let your journey toward the most steadfast version of yourself begin right now.